Hey everyone, I'm Nicole,
And I'm Gabrielle.
and we are the hosts of the Spiritual Sisters podcast.
Join us every week as we discuss all the spiritual topics like astrology, mediumship, psychic insights, and so much more.
We are often joined by others we have met along our spiritual journey who are well versed in many of these areas.
Get ready for enlightening discussions and interviews and personal experiences that we hope will expand your mind and get you thinking outside of the box.
Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just beginning your spiritual journey, there's something here for everyone.
Check us out every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts. See you then.
Bye!
Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of the Soul Ecosystem Podcast, where we discuss all things soul contracts using a modality that combines Jewish mysticism, tarology, astrology, and numerology. On today's episode, we are going to be looking at two soul contracts. We are going to be looking into Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's soul contract. News of their engagement has been just blowing up the internet for, I don't know how long ago this was already. For so long, everybody is so happy for them. I'm so happy for them. I'm shipping them so hard. And I don't think I've ever looked into Travis Kelce's soul contract, but I have looked into Taylor Swift's. So I wanted to share with you guys what I found in both of their soul contracts, give you a rundown, a very in-depth rundown of what kind of souls these are, what makes them tick, and we are also going to be looking into their karmic compatibility. Whenever somebody enters into a relationship with someone, you enter into a contract, and we can look into the compatibility of these two based on the numerology found in their dates of birth. So we are going to be looking into that. I want to start with Travis Kelce's soul contract first, because I've never seen it before, and when I did look into it, I started to get a little bit worried. From what I know, from the little I know about Travis Kelce, I'm not going to pretend like I know anything about football or his career. He seems to be genuinely in love with Taylor Swift. Like, we all have watched him fangirl over her, and it's the cutest, sweetest thing. But looking into his soul contract gave us a little bit of a different side to Travis. And it's gotten me a little worried, so I might drop some predictions on here. And they are predictions that I don't necessarily want to drop because I want them to be a sure thing. I want them to last. This is all going to depend on Travis Kelce and how evolved he is as a soul, how mature he is. Without further ado, Travis Kelce was born the same year Taylor Swift was born, and he's about 2 months older than her. He was born October 5th, 1989. So what does the number 5 tell us in regards to his personality? 5s are very structured. They are disciplined. They like rules. They like there to be certain boundaries. They like to have certain expectations that they know that they can fulfill, if that makes sense. They like to be organized in that way. They're usually rule followers. They do not tend to be on the very experimental side, the very adventurous or spontaneous kind of side. They like routine, they like structure, and they have a great rapport with kids, actually. They would make excellent teachers, and they are really great at public speaking. They're really charismatic and would do well in a teaching profession, in a government law profession. Logical thinking and the ability to analyze is like big for them, so they would really succeed in that kind of environment. Now, being born in October gives him the number 10 in his numerology, and 10 is a lucky star kind of number. These are the types of people that things just have a way of working out for them more so than for others. They get lucky breaks, they get opportunities that other people wouldn't typically get. So this makes them very easygoing. They're not very stressed out about things because they're very aware of this likability. I think there's this likability in them that other people are kind of drawn to, and it makes them want to give them opportunities, want to give them things. They're not unlikable. You know, they're team players. It's not about being in a leadership position for them. They like to see everybody thrive. They're very kind, empathetic, and aren't the type of people that are like, I need all of the glory, I need all of the power, I need all of the spotlight. And this kind of makes sense in regards to his relationship with Taylor Swift, even showing up at her concerts and being a part of the dance routine of the skits. You know, he is so okay with giving Taylor Swift the spotlight, with having the attention be on her, because there's no greediness there on his side. There's no greediness there on his part to be like an attention seeker. When operating from a negative space, we are going to see side effects of being like a little controlling when it comes to the number 5. So operating from the positive, the number 5, again, is organized, likes structure, likes routine, disciplined, not very adventurous, likes to play by the book, play by the rules. The downside of number 5 is this desire to control everything, this desire to have everything fit in a box. They almost see the world as very black and white. They don't leave room for gray areas. So when something becomes a gray area, when something kind of steps outside of those rules, outside of that box, they start to get a little fidgety, and then they start to get a little panicky. They may start to try to control things, control other people, control what other people think, the way that their family around them thinks. And this kind of gives me the vibe of that really religious friend that's always trying to convert everybody. They get into this kind of zone where they're really focused on control and trying to force order. The downside of the number 10 when operating from the negative, as long as the person relies on their luck, on fate, and kind of leaves it up to fate, leaves things up to fate, and is very go with the flow in his energy, everything in life goes smoothly. As soon as they start to get a little nervous and stressed out, and I think some of that 5 energy, the negative of the 5, can definitely start stressing someone out. As soon as you get stressed out as a number 10, you start losing that luck, you start losing that charm, because you're no longer trusting the universe and trusting that life has a way of working out for you. Life has a way of working things out, and you start turning away from these opportunities. These opportunities that are presented to you no longer feel like opportunities, but more so either obligations or additional work. So you kind of like decide not to take it on, and you're like, no, like I'll find something else, and you're turning away blessings essentially, which results in you making more work for yourself. So not finding that balance, not coming back into that place where they trust, where they know things are going to work out for them in the end, starts disrupting a lot of the natural flow of their life, the natural blessings that flow into their life. And they forget that opportunities that come into their life are there for a reason, and you need to be open to accepting them, which I think would be very difficult for somebody that's operating from the negative in a 5 energy, because they don't like to step out of the box. They don't like to try new things, explore new things. They're used to routine. They're used to likely a schedule and things being set in stone. So all in all, there's this combination of realizing that he has to work for what he wants. There's a realization that through hard work, through dedication, through determination, you can achieve your dreams. And the added bonus of that 10 energy in his chart helps him attract the kind of opportunities he needs to achieve his dreams. Overall, self-realization and financial prosperity comes through hard work for him. If they get that financial success, it's usually a little later on in life. His strengths are that he lives by a system and adheres to his own morals, adheres to his own rules, beliefs, and rarely strays from them, rarely strays from this course that he sets up for himself. And this helps him achieve significant success. In the negative trajectory, there can be a lot of anxiety, a lot of insecurity and discomfort with anything unfamiliar and new, with anything that's a change of pace or scenery. So to others, he may seem a little stubborn or conservative or a creature of habit. So any sort of change in his life is not very easy for him to do. And this may keep them stuck in the same place for a long time and lower his motivation, lower his drive. Looking into his previous life shot up a few red flags for me. The numbers he has for his previous life karma is 9, 15, and 6. This karmic debt from a previous life is one of choosing between a strong but really calm, almost emotionally dull or boring relationship with a loved one and a loving person versus a very passionate, hot, physical kind of affair. He chose the latter. He felt burdened by the stability and the monotony of having the same partner for an extended period of time, and wounded a person that really loved them deeply, that was committed to them by having this affair on the side. I'm curious to see Travis Kelce's last relationship. I'm curious to look it up. I don't know if I want to. I feel like I want to be surprised by it. But from the looks of it, from this karmic debt from the past life, he likely went through something similar in this current life, in the sense where he always struggled between commitment and being able to be a free spirit, to be non-monogamous, have lots of flings. And it's not that there is an inability to connect with somebody. There is the ability to fall in love with someone, connect with them, be very passionate about them, but it's almost like there's this tendency to get bored of it. After the initial charm of it, after the honeymoon phase, the relationship kind of wears, and there's potential for him to stray or to break it off so that he can be single. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I'm just reading what I am seeing in his chart for you guys. So hopefully this karmic debt has been cleared. Hopefully, if there was a situation where he didn't appreciate somebody's love and devotion to him in that way and kind of left them heartbroken, left them brokenhearted because he got bored, hopefully he managed to clear that karmic debt and learn from it, grow from it. But if that debt isn't cleared, this is going to happen again. This is going to repeat again, this cycle where at first it's hot and heavy, passionate, but then it becomes monotonous. And I have a feeling that we may see their schedules conflicting, that making a problem for them in their relationship. That may be something that all big time Hollywood stars, celebrities struggle with. But for him in particular, I think this is going to be difficult to process, difficult to handle if this karmic debt is not cleared. So that's the downloads we got from his previous life based on his soul contract. The next thing that is a little bit worrisome is his approach to life. So this is kind of, it's almost, oh my goodness, what is it called? Not like a background programming, but it's like the music that plays in the background of a movie. It's your go-to way of handling things, handling stressors. And Travis Kelce has one called Escaping Reality. So this particular approach results in a lot of complex situations, like in regards to love, communication with others. When he is hit with a difficult situation, he likes to kind of dissociate from it or pretend it's not happening or numb it down. So immediately when I saw that, I'm like, okay, this feels like there's a vice going on. This feels like there is something that he might use to escape reality. And signs that this is playing out is having phobias or addictions, having an inability to accept like that something is happening, so denial, a lot of miscommunication and misunderstanding with people around him, dependence on loved ones, cheating, wanting to leave a relationship but not acting on it because you're afraid to be alone, getting bored, and having multiple partners without settling down, without committing. If a lot of these things are happening for you in your life, if that is happening for you, and if that is how you handle stressors, what is needed is to be honest with yourself, to take responsibility for your choices, and to really start doing what it is that your heart desires. From the looks of it, I would say that Travis Kelce is definitely fulfilling his dreams, not shying away from living his dream life, right? Now, looking into his subconscious programs, which are programs in the subconscious that we have to work through in our incarnation. They're usually carried over from past karma, from past lives. They're usually thought patterns or subconscious patterns that we adopted in a previous life. The first one Travis Kelce has is the high spiritual unification mission. So this is somebody that is able to be a human magnet, essentially, to other people. They're able to attract people with their ideas, with their charisma. They have a very powerful unifying energy. And they have that unifying energy for a reason. This is like given for a higher purpose, and it is specifically to unite people, whether it be uniting a family that broke apart, whether it be uniting, let's say, a church or a company, uniting a group of people towards a higher purpose. The stronger the person's energy, the stronger this pull is to them. And if the energy is strong enough, it could result in like global unification. Now, Travis Kelce has a lot of subconscious programs running, so this means that there has been some karma occurring from past lives, which is not necessarily a good or a bad thing. It just means that he's been around, and I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to go through the ones that stand out to me the most. Let's start with the good ones first. He has the Fairy World Writer-Director program, which means that he has a way with words. He is a good writer. He's very, very creative, almost has this like childlike imagination level level of creativity. He's really good with storytelling. He'd be a great writer, great designer, director, and again, really good with kids. Travis Kelce also has the Sacred Sacrifice program. This program comes with an opportunity to become very successful in life. But this sacrifice part of it is that he would essentially give it up for the sake of someone else. So the way that I'm seeing this is that he would give up all of the fame, all of the renown for the right reasons, for a just cause, essentially. Another positive subconscious program running for him is the system error program. This person is on a mission to clear karma that isn't working on a consciousness level for us. They're really good at identifying what systems aren't working, and off the top of my head, I am guessing that Travis Kelce is well versed in toxic masculinity, in the sense of he is not at all intimidated by Taylor Swift's huge success. To him, it's not a stumbling block, it's not a con. He sees it as a pro, and he's proud of her. He's her biggest cheerleader. He cheers her on, whereas others would be turned off by it, would be intimidated by it, would feel lesser than by it. So that's how I'm reading into that one. In regards to the subconscious programs running that are not so healthy, not so good, we have the self-destruction program. So this is somebody that self-destructs or has a tendency to when things get good for them. This may manifest as shutting down a good thing, shutting down a good relationship, a good job. And this may manifest as starting to try dangerous hobbies, taking on dangerous hobbies that risk their lives and throwing themselves into vices or things that are very risky. This may not always manifest in the actual person. This may manifest in somebody that is in your immediate circle, in your family, in your close friends, and this may manifest around midlife crisis age for said loved ones or friends. The other red flag is the trap program. So for the trap program, when it's operating from the positive, this makes it very easy for Travis to make decisions in life without relying on anybody, makes it very easy to overcome stressors, take responsibility, take accountability, and this manifests as somebody that's very confident of their capabilities, of who they are, and of being able to make decisions. The problems start coming in when he faces something that he feels is hopeless. There may be a situation where he can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, where he may want to give up and just doesn't understand what to do, doesn't know what to do. He can be in this kind of state of frustration and indecisiveness for years, expecting that maybe something will resolve itself. Maybe it somehow will magically figure itself out and resolve. And it leads to it not being resolved because there's inaction. He's afraid to make a choice. He's afraid to make a decision that will go either way because he feels like he's cornered into this issue. This may also manifest as being afraid of, this may also manifest as claustrophobia. The rest of the subconscious programs in Travis Kelce's chart are very light. So when I said that there was red flags in his soul contract, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like it's actually not as bad as it could be. It's not as severe as it could be. There's no subconscious programs for narcissism, which I found in Taylor Swift's previous ex, Matt Healy. When I looked into that soul contract, that was a doozy. That was like the epitome of a narcissist soul contract. That one was really, really heavy and tough to dive into because of how serious the negative subconscious programs that he was running were. So, as far as red flags go, he's got like some tiny ones. There are some things to look into. There are some things that he needs to be very careful of and make sure that he doesn't catch himself in the same cycle again. This is not to say that Taylor Swift doesn't have her own little red flags in her soul contract. They both do. Taylor Swift actually has a subconscious program in her soul contract that is very like alarming for me because I've seen this particular program in people that have been assassinated. So it's a little bit scary, and it's something that I have been studying extensively, the people that have this program coming up, because it's a little bit of a, not a paradox, but the subconscious program is called violence, and usually the people with this program in their chart have some sort of violence done unto them. In regards to the other programs in Taylor Swift's chart, she also has this high spiritual unification mission, which means she's really good at bringing people together for a higher purpose. And obviously, she's like the queen of that. She's got such a huge and dedicated and loving and loyal fan base. And it's easy to see why. She's absolutely brilliant. She also has a revenge program. And this is one of the things I kind of love about her, because the revenge program isn't always as heinous or malicious as it sounds. It's a person that is driven by other people saying that they can't do something. It's not always like violent or like I'm gonna get revenge on you. I'm gonna be vengeful. It's a person that knows how to channel that drive, knows how to channel other people's disapproval, other people's criticism into their motivation. It powers them. It also means that they tend to hold grudges. They can hold grudges for a long time. They likely will remember what somebody did to them in pre-K, kindergarten, if it was like serious enough, or if they just found it offensive. Something I also wanted to note is that she also has the silence program. The silence program manifests as a person that is really great at speaking, really charismatic. They have a gift of speech, and they end up usually hiding it deeply in themselves. This may make things difficult when it comes to expressing their opinions, expressing their point of view. If they don't speak out, if they stay silent about things that are bothering them and just say, "Oh, like it's fine, it's not really bothering me." This creates a problem. This makes her lose opportunities, get off path, and she would really need to learn how to balance when to speak out and when to be silent, instead of always letting herself be silenced and silencing herself and not speaking out about the things that are important to her. Which I feel like this program happened for her around the time that the whole Kanye situation happened. What was that, 2008, 2009? I feel like she disappeared for a while after that. I know she disappeared for a while after that. And it was because she was working through this program. She was trying to find a balance in between, do I speak on this? Do I not speak on this? If I start like talking badly about him, like that's going to be frowned upon, because as a celebrity, image is everything. What you say, what you do, what you look like, it's everything. And you have to be so PC, so politically correct, so careful of what it is that you say. I feel like she needed to learn this silence programming it's when it is appropriate to be silent and when it is appropriate to speak out, when it's important to speak out and not hold things in. Are you guys ready to look at their compatibility together? There are a few other subconscious programs in Taylor Swift's chart. That the only other thing that I do kind of want to mention about Taylor Swift is that she values mentors, she values teachers, she values people that have come before her. She has this respect to other artists, other people in her profession that she honors. When other people don't do the same, when other people are incapable of being respectful, of honoring the greats, I want to say, right? It really wounds her. She really values there being an order. She really values roles where there's a boss and he's in the position of authority or she's in the position of authority, and there's a pecking order. She understands that and is respectful towards it. This is also an indication that somebody is respectful towards other people's opinions, other people's beliefs and views and religions. She knows how to give other people credit, is what I'm saying. She's not the type to think that she's the end all be all greatest singer of all time, right? And I thought that I should just mention that because that is something that's very telling about her as a person. I feel like she somehow managed to stay down to earth, somehow managed to stay in the real world and not get so caught up with the magic that is her life. I think that's all I have for her soul contract. Although I didn't really touch on her personality, did I? I didn't really touch on the two main numbers in her soul contract, which is 12 and 13. 12 being that she was born in December, 13 being that she was born on the 13th. 13th people are very, very interesting. They are surrounded by mystery and mysticism. I love the energy of the number 13. It's very, very mysterious. It's almost like this Pandora's box. It's like this person doesn't necessarily know and understand all of their own facets. So think of a gem or a diamond that has so many facets that you can't possibly explore them all, like without turning it, right? Without like learning them, discovering them. They're very, very curious, very intuitive and creative, and they have the ability to create completely new and unusual ideas or projects or works. This people born on the 13th are excellent in really extreme situations where somebody would really be caught in the trauma and tragedy of something. This is when people with the number 13 thrive and shine. They don't freak out. They're able to kind of like hone in and be like, okay, we got to focus. We got to figure out how to get out of here. So in a panicky situation, you would want these people to take the lead, to kind of take the reins of the situation and help you get out of it. There's also a natural understanding of everything having to do with mystical things, esoteric things. And there's a level of fearlessness that comes into play for the number 13. They might be a bit of like an adrenaline junkie. They have a very dulled sense of fear and a dulled sense of fear of death too. There's just like, I don't want to say a numbness to it because it's still there, but it's numbed down. People with a number 13 in their soul contracts would usually opt for a profession that is exciting, a little dangerous perhaps. So something that has a bit of a thrill to it, maybe a police officer, FBI agent, private investigator, somebody that works in the ER on ambulances, they need a little bit of a punch or a kick to it. The downside of the number 13 is that they have a tendency of not finishing tasks that they start because they spread themselves thin. They have a lot of interests, they have a lot of hobbies, a lot of, like, again, multifaceted, so multifaceted. They kind of throw their energy in every which direction and may not always be able to follow through. So there is this level of flakiness almost. They can be quite unpredictable, even to themselves. They may be prone to mood swings, and there's even this kind of like, I feel like this makes them a little bit more mystical. When they release negative energy, this can mess around with the technology around them, light bulbs, like tech, internet. It could cause things to crash because they have an abundance of energy within them. And like I said, because they have this numbed kind of fear of danger and death, they can put themselves into very life-threatening situations and not really bat an eye to it. So this is like very concerning. This is almost giving me that scene in Grey's Anatomy where Meredith gets trapped with the bomb, like holding the bomb in the guy's chest cavity, and Derek Shepherd was like, well, of course you would be the one that's holding the bomb. Like, why are you so insistent on putting yourself into life-threatening positions? This is giving that energy. This is giving Meredith energy where she is desensitized to danger and almost okay with it, almost seeks it out. So that's what the number 13 is like. Very multifaceted, lots of energy, lots of interests, and very little fear. Very little fear, very curious type of people. When we look at the energy of the number 12, this is the energy of like the ultimate self-disciplined creative. When you think of creative people, when you think of artsy people, you feel like somebody that's very airy, very not grounded, very flaky. But the energy of the number 12 carries a very strong groundedness to it that helps creative souls be disciplined, skilled in managing themselves, managing others. They also have, number 12s, also have a very loving and sincere heart. Their open spirit, their kind of like openness, wearing their heart on their not shoulder, wearing their heart on their sleeve, attracts other people to them. And I feel like that was the whole appeal of why Taylor Swift got famous in the first place, because she was so heart on her sleeve, personable, and able to connect with others because of how vulnerable she was and still is. Number 12s are often very selfless and very responsive when it comes to helping other people because they're able to empathize, they're able to hold a lot of compassion for them. And 12s, they just feel like their energy is just like one big open heart. They are able to unconditionally love people and accept them as they are with no judgment, with no condemnation. Just be like, that's you. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a very spiritual number. It's a very, I want to say advanced number, but it's advanced in the sense that they know how to love. They know how to love with all of their heart. There's no reservations there. And I think that is why Taylor Swift's music is as good as it is, because she can channel that deep emotion of love so well. She's sensitive to it. She's very familiar with it. The downside of this, the downside of wearing your heart on your sleeve, sacrificing yourself, your time for others, is that you're too sensitive to other people's problems. You may fall into depression from kind of taking on everybody else's drama, everybody else's pain. You may forget about yourself and not prioritize your own self-care, not prioritize showing some TLC to yourself. And it can result in getting attached to one person, becoming too dependent on them. And then when losing that person, finding it very, very difficult to go back to normal, go back to living without them, because they get so enveloped in that relationship that they don't remember how they survived without that person before they came into their lives. So I feel like this sensitivity, this deep understanding of emotions, this deep feeling of emotions makes her music as touching, as effective, like impactful as it is. When we look at their compatibility chart, so it's their combined numerology of their dates of birth, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift have the numbers 18 and 22. They met in order to show each other unconditional love and support, and were meant to be this power couple that wasn't afraid to be very ambitious, to set ambitious goals, to chase their desires, their heart's desires, and to have these gigantic dreams. They were meant to show each other a sincere, compassionate, balanced relationship where both partners feel as deeply for one another as the other does. What's interesting to me in their compatibility chart, that it talks about them being almost very, very childlike. They're very playful, they're very giddy, and I'm like, that's all you see all over the news, like them fooling around, them like being so in love. It reminds you of first love. It reminds you like of teenage love, right? It feels young. It feels like they're not taking themselves too seriously. I'm remembering the way her relationship, Taylor Swift's relationship with Joel Alwyn was panning out. And he didn't want to be photographed with her. It's like he didn't want people to know that he was dating her, which is so weird. It felt like that guy took himself way too seriously. And I feel like Taylor Swift finally found somebody that's able to play around with her, able to be so full of energy and life like she is. Now, the next part of the compatibility part is the part that I don't really want to say out loud, because I don't want to predict them breaking up. I don't want to predict them breaking up. But if they were to break up, and I don't want them to break up, if they were to break up, which I hope they do not, I'm going to reiterate that like a million times, because I would so love for this to be the, oh my God, what's that? Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. Does that sound right? Did they marry each other and they were like married forever? Or no, they weren't married. They were just together forever. I don't know if they're actually married. All right, I'm going to look that up. But I know that they're together for like years and years and years and decades. I really want it to be Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn type of relationship, not married. All right, they're not even engaged. They have been in a committed relationship since 1983. My husband is helping me fact check. Thank you very much. They have been in a committed relationship since 1983, and that works for them, and that's great. I hope that this marriage is kind of a one and done marriage for Taylor Swift. But if they were to break up, there is a very strong possibility. The reason for the breakup is if there was an affair going on. And given that there was already this kind of probability that Travis would stray. I'm going to guess that it would be from his side, but we do not know that for certain. We don't know if he's cleared that karmic debt from his past life or not. So it is what it is. I don't like what I'm seeing, but that is what is kind of the weak point for them as a couple. This kind of inability to keep that spark alive for Travis, in Travis's case. The thing with compatibility charts is that they also show what happens when you stray from what you were brought together for. So when I said that the reason they were brought together in this incarnation was to give each other unconditional love and support and have that ability to really build big dreams and big goals, big ambitions. If for whatever reason that starts to dissipate and negative issues start coming up, there could be kind of a karmic fallout. Numerologically, we see the numbers 8, 18, 13, 21, 7, and seeing as this is showcasing us the negative karma that turns on. So these are the negative side effects of these numbers. They would be kicking in, like you would see them manifesting in the following way: physical aggression, disappointment in a partner, almost to a point of repulsion, a lot of fights, a lot of grievances, depression on either part may also appear. And we may see them be afraid to make serious decisions. Maybe this, if this kicks in, like I could see this postponing the wedding, jealousy could kick in, and specifically with the number 13, this is manifesting negatively as having very, very passionate fights where they kind of don't really control what they say or what they do. They could even show some physical aggression or say really, really cruel things to each other that even if they made up, it would still kind of sting. Like, those fights that you have where you still remember some things that were said and it's like, okay, that wasn't okay. But if they decide to break up, they're not going to be able to kind of like let each other go. There's still going to be that attachment and connection, and they may get back together. There's also the postponement of having children, and that just makes logical sense. It makes sense to postpone having children if you are having a lot of negativity or problems in a relationship. So that was Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's soul contracts and their compatibility chart. It is up to them completely to decide if they're going to continue this karmic contract that they have together and how it's going to play out. I'm sure all of us are just rooting so hard for them because we want to believe in love and fairy tales like Taylor Swift has been making us believe since we were like 13. So that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, and tune in every Friday for your weekly soul contract or energy reading. And if you wanted to look into your own soul contract, you can do so by going to my website at thesoulecosystem.com, checking me out on Instagram, or even my Etsy shop. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a lovely weekend. See you next time.